I was sitting in my corner office watching the Seattle skyline through floor-to-ceiling windows when my phone rang that Friday afternoon. 4 years of building my logistics software company from nothing, 15 employees, 2.8 million in revenue last year. I should have felt proud. Instead, my mother's voice cut through my accomplishment like a knife. If you do not make Jake your business partner, I will consider you no longer my son. Those words hit me like a freight train. My younger brother, Jake, 28 years old, still living at home, unemployed for the third time this year. The golden child who never faced consequences, never had to earn anything. And now Mom wanted me to hand him 30% of everything I had built. Before I start this story, let me know where you are watching from in the comments below. Hit that like button if you have ever dealt with family favoritism, and make sure to subscribe because this journey gets intense. Trust me, you will want to see how this family drama unfolds and how I finally stood up for myself. Growing up, the pattern was crystal clear, though I was too young to recognize it as unfair. When I was 12 and Jake was 8, I won a piano scholarship to study with the best teacher in town. I practiced every day after school, calluses forming on my fingertips from dedication. But when the time came to pay, Mom took that scholarship money and bought Jake a Nintendo instead. Jake needs something to keep him busy, she explained, while I watched my musical dreams dissolve. Jake never even asked for piano lessons. The chores were split the same way. Every Saturday morning I cleaned both our rooms, did laundry, and washed dishes while Jake played video games. If I complained, Mom would say, "You are older, Matt. You need to set an example." But when Jake broke something or made a mess somehow, it became my responsibility to fix it. Help your brother became the soundtrack of my childhood. High school brought new levels of inequality. I worked 20 hours a week at a local restaurant, saving every dollar for college applications and test prep books. My grades never dropped below a 3.8. Jake barely maintained a 2.1, skipping classes to hang out with friends who were already dropping out. When report cards came home, Mom focused on my 1B+ in advanced calculus while praising Jake's single C in basic algebra as improvement. College applications revealed the full extent of the favoritism. I earned a partial scholarship to Stanford covering 60% of tuition. Mom celebrated for exactly 5 minutes before explaining she could not help with the remaining costs. "You are smart enough to figure it out," she said. I took out student loans and worked summers in tech internships, sleeping 4 hours a night to balance everything. Jake chose community college, which cost a fraction of my expenses. Yet Mom paid his full tuition, bought him a car, and gave him spending money. When I asked why the difference, she said Jake needs more support. "You have always been independent. Those college years taught me self-reliance in ways I never expected. While my dorm mates called home for care packages and emotional support, I learned to handle everything alone. Finals week, stress, relationship problems, career decisions. Mom never asked about my grades, my social life, or my plans after graduation. Every conversation centered on Jake's struggles with basic coursework or his need for understanding and patience. I graduated summa cum laude with a computer science degree, landing a software engineering position at Google. Mom's reaction was lukewarm. Congratulations followed immediately by worry about Jake's uncertain future. 3 years at Google taught me the industry inside and out. I worked on massive projects, learned from brilliant colleagues, and saved aggressively. When I turned 28, I made the leap to entrepreneurship, partnering with my college roommate Marcus to create logistics software for small businesses. We started in my garage with 2 laptops and a dream. Jake was 24, then living at home after dropping out of community college twice, spending his days gaming and his nights at bars. Building the company consumed my life in the best possible way. 18-hour days felt energizing when I was creating something meaningful. We landed our first client within 3 months, then 5 more by year-end. The software solved real problems for trucking companies, delivery services, and warehouse operations. By year 2, we moved into proper office space and hired our first employees. Year 3 brought national recognition and major contracts. Year 4 established us as serious players in the logistics tech space. Throughout this journey, Mom remained focused exclusively on Jake's problems. He had been fired from a retail job for showing up late, quit a restaurant position after 2 weeks because the work was beneath him, and failed to complete a certification program she paid for. Each setback prompted lengthy phone calls where she analyzed what went wrong and how the world was unfair to her younger son. My business milestones earned brief acknowledgments before conversations pivoted back to Jake's need for the right opportunity. That Friday afternoon call started normally enough. Mom asked about my health, then quickly transitioned to her real concern. Jake has been thinking about his future, she began, using the tone that always preceded unreasonable requests. He has incredible ideas about social media marketing and business development. He just needs the right platform to showcase his talents. I listened patiently, wondering where this was leading. I think your company could be perfect for him. You could make him a partner, maybe 30% ownership. He would bring fresh perspectives and modern marketing approaches. The audacity took my breath away. 4 years of building, risking everything, working until exhaustion, and she wanted me to give Jake nearly a third of it. For what ideas about social media, I kept my voice calm, explaining that partnerships required experience, proven skills, and shared financial investment. Jake had none of these qualifications. Mom's tone shifted immediately. You have always been selfish with your brother, she snapped. This time you are going to help him whether you want to or not. The daily phone calls started immediately. Monday morning, Mom called during my team meeting to discuss Jake's integration timeline. Tuesday brought a lecture about family loyalty and shared success. Wednesday featured comparisons to other families where siblings work together harmoniously. By Thursday, Jake himself appeared at my office, introducing himself to employees as the future partner and asking about his upcoming workspace. Marcus pulled me aside after Jake spent an hour explaining his vision for social media synergy to our confused developers. This is getting weird, Matt, he said quietly. Your brother told Sarah in accounting that he would be restructuring operations once he officially joined. She asked if she should update the organizational chart. My stomach dropped. Jake was behaving as if the partnership was already decided, spreading uncertainty among my carefully built team. Jake's confidence was unsettling. He walked through our workspace like he owned it, critiquing our outdated website design and suggesting we pivot toward influencer partnerships and viral marketing campaigns. When I reminded him that we served logistics companies, not lifestyle brands, he waved dismissively. You are thinking too small, brother. I can expand your vision beyond boring shipping stuff. Our senior developer, David, asked privately whether the company was changing direction. The uncertainty was toxic to morale. Mom escalated her manipulation tactics as my resistance solidified. Tuesday's call featured tears and guilt. I am getting older, Matt. I just want to see my two sons succeed together before I am gone. Wednesday brought health concerns. All this stress about Jake's future is affecting my blood pressure. My doctor says I need to reduce anxiety or risk serious problems. Thursday introduced family comparisons. The Johnson brothers built a construction empire together. The Martinez family owns 4 restaurants because they support each other. Why cannot my sons do the same? The emotional manipulation felt suffocating. Every conversation began with love and concern, then twisted into demands and ultimatums. You are the successful one, Mom would say. You have everything you need. Why cannot you share some of that success with your brother who is struggling? When I pointed out that I had earned everything through hard work, while Jake had been given endless opportunities he squandered, she accused me of keeping score and holding grudges. The revelation came through Marcus, whose girlfriend worked in private investigation. I did some checking on Jake, he told me quietly one Thursday evening. You might want to see this. The report was devastating but not surprising. Jake owed $47,000 to online gambling sites accumulated over 18 months of sports betting and poker games. He had been fired from his last 4 jobs, not for bad luck, but for chronic tardiness, inappropriate behavior with customers, and in one case, suspected theft from the register. More disturbing was the web of lies he had constructed. Jake told Mom he had connections in the tech industry, but the investigation revealed he had been rejected from entry-level positions at every major company in Seattle. He claimed to have nearly completed his associate degree, but had actually failed to finish even basic requirements after multiple attempts. The college transcripts showed a pattern of dropping classes mid-semester and accumulating withdrawals that destroyed his grade point average. Most painful was discovering that Mom knew much of this truth. Bank records showed she had been paying Jake's gambling debts for 6 months, Money, she claimed, was for job training programs and professional development courses. She was not naive about his problems. She was enabling them while demanding I provide a more permanent solution. Armed with documentation, I confronted Mom that Friday evening. The evidence was irrefutable: bank statements, employment records, college transcripts, and gambling site histories. I spread everything across her kitchen table, expecting shame, or at least acknowledgement of Jake's deception. Instead, she barely glanced at the papers before pushing them aside. "Where did you get this?" she demanded. "You hired investigators to spy on your own brother." When I explained that Marcus had done basic background checking to protect the company, Mom shifted tactics completely. "Even if some of this is true," she said, implying the documented facts were somehow questionable, "it proves Jake needs help, not abandonment. You have succeeded despite obstacles. Now you need to help your brother do the same." The circular logic was maddening. Jake's failures became reasons why I owed him more opportunities, not fewer. "This is exactly why you need to bring him into the business." Mom continued, her voice gaining strength as she warmed to her theme. "Structure and responsibility will give him purpose. You can mentor him, teach him proper work habits. Brothers should lift each other up, not tear each other down with private investigators and secret files." No amount of evidence could penetrate her determination to make Jake my responsibility. Jake's unauthorized actions escalated quickly once he sensed Mom's unwavering support. Monday morning, he arrived at the office before I did, somehow convincing the security guard to let him in by claiming he was Matt's business partner handling early meetings. When I arrived, Jake was in the conference room with Peterson Logistics, one of our biggest potential clients, presenting what he called revolutionary integration strategies for modern supply chain optimization. Marcus found me in the hallway, his face pale with anxiety. "Matt, we have a serious problem," he whispered urgently. Jake promised Peterson we could deliver real-time inventory tracking across 17 different software platforms by next month. He signed a preliminary agreement for $200,000. My blood turned cold. That kind of integration would require 8 months of development and technologies we had not even begun researching. Peterson's CEO, Janet Morrison, approached me after Jake's presentation with barely contained excitement. "Your partner is brilliant," she gushed. "Finally, someone who understands our vision for comprehensive logistics automation." Jake explained how your artificial intelligence algorithms can predict delivery delays 3 days in advance and automatically reroute shipments to optimize efficiency. None of these capabilities existed in our software, or anywhere else in the industry for that matter. Damage control consumed my entire week. I had to explain to Peterson that Jake was not authorized to make commitments, and that his promises were technologically impossible with current industry standards. Janet's enthusiasm turned to suspicion, then anger. "Are you saying your own partner lied to us?" she demanded during a tense conference call. "Because if your company cannot deliver what was promised, we will find someone who can, and our legal team will review options for breach of preliminary agreements." Jake showed no remorse when confronted about the Peterson disaster. "I was trying to push the company forward," he said defensively. "You are too conservative, too focused on boring basic services. These clients want innovation and excitement. I was giving them what they actually need." When I explained that we could face a lawsuit for fraudulent promises, he shrugged. "We can figure out the technical stuff later. The important thing is landing big contracts and thinking beyond your limited imagination." The Peterson incident created ripple effects throughout my carefully maintained business relationships. Word spread quickly in Seattle's tight-knit logistics community that our company was making unrealistic promises and experiencing internal conflicts. 2 other potential clients postponed meetings, citing concerns about organizational stability and unclear leadership structure. My reputation, built over 4 years of consistent delivery and honest communication, was cracking under the weight of Jake's reckless ambitions. Mom's response to the Peterson crisis revealed the full extent of her delusion about Jake's capabilities. When I called to explain how his unauthorized actions had nearly destroyed a crucial client relationship, she dismissed my concerns entirely. "Jake is a visionary," she declared firmly. "He sees possibilities where you see only problems." Maybe Peterson appreciated his forward-thinking approach because they are tired of your boring, traditional methods. The ultimate confrontation came when Mom organized what she called a family business meeting at her house that Sunday evening. She invited Sarah, my girlfriend of 2 years, and Marcus presumably to witness Jake's triumphant presentation and my public agreement to the partnership. The dining room was set up like a corporate boardroom with Jake's laptop connected to a borrowed projector and handwritten notes scattered across the table. Jake's presentation was simultaneously impressive and horrifying. He had clearly spent hours preparing slide after slide of industry buzzwords, growth projections, and marketing strategies lifted directly from various business websites. His confidence was absolute as he explained his comprehensive transformation plan for expanding beyond logistics into lifestyle, logistics experience optimization, and consumer journey mapping. Every sentence contained at least 3 meaningless business cliches delivered with evangelical fervor. Mom watched Jake's performance with glowing pride, nodding enthusiastically at his most nonsensical suggestions. When he proposed hiring social media influencers to promote our trucking software to younger demographics, she applauded. When he suggested pivoting towards sustainable logistics storytelling and eco-conscious supply chain narratives, she called him brilliant. Sarah and Marcus exchanged worried glances while I sat in stunned silence. The climax came when Jake unveiled his partnership proposal. He wanted not 30% ownership, as Mom had initially suggested, but 45%, citing his strategic vision and marketing expertise as justification for majority stake consideration. Additionally, he wanted immediate salary matching mine, a company car, and authority to hire his own creative team of friends who shared his disruptive mindset. Mom's response shattered the last remnants of my hope for family reconciliation. "This is exactly what the company needs," she announced definitively. "Matt, you have done wonderful work building the foundation, but Jake can take it to the next level. You should be grateful to have such an innovative partner." When I started to object, she cut me off sharply. "You have always been threatened by Jake's creativity. It is time to stop holding him back." The moment of absolute clarity arrived when Mom played her final card. "If you refuse to accept Jake as your partner," she said with cold finality, "I am prepared to invest $100,000 to help him start a competing company. He deserves family support, and if you will not provide it, I will." The threat was real and devastating. Jake's face lit up with malicious joy as he realized he had won regardless of my decision. The choice crystallized with perfect clarity as I looked around that dining room table. Mom's face showed absolute determination to destroy my business rather than accept my refusal. Jake smirked with anticipation of either getting my company or getting funding to compete against me. Sarah squeezed my hand supportively under the table, her loyalty unwavering despite the family chaos. Marcus met my eyes with a subtle nod, ready to support whatever decision I made. Standing slowly, I felt calmer than I had in weeks. "I have made my decision," I said quietly, my voice carrying none of the anger or frustration that had consumed me recently. The room fell silent, everyone leaning forward in anticipation. Jake will never be my business partner. Not for 30%, not for 5%, not for any percentage. This conversation ends here. Mom's face flushed with rage and disbelief. "You cannot mean that," she sputtered. "After everything I have done for you, all the support and love I have given you over the years, you would throw it all away to spite your brother?" Jake's smirk disappeared, replaced by genuine shock that his manipulation had failed. Sarah's grip on my hand tightened with pride and relief. Furthermore, I continued, my voice gaining strength. "I have already spoken with my attorney about transferring the company incorporation to Delaware and restructuring all ownership agreements to prevent any future complications. Jake will have no legal claim to any aspect of my business now or ever." The legal protections had been in place since the Peterson incident, but announcing them felt like throwing off chains I had carried for years. Mom stood abruptly, her chair scraping loudly against the hardwood floor. "Then you are no longer my son," she declared with theatrical finality. "If you choose your selfishness over your family, there is nothing left to discuss." Jake nodded smugly, adding, "Good luck running your boring little company without family support. You will regret this decision when we are crushing you in the marketplace." Walking toward the door, I felt Sarah and Marcus following close behind, their solidarity, providing strength I had never experienced from my biological family. "I have one more thing to say," I called back without turning around. "The investor meeting I have been preparing for has resulted in a $2 million funding round. I no longer need family support of any kind. Build your competing company if you want. I will be too busy succeeding to notice. The drive home was eerily peaceful. Sarah sat beside me, her hand resting gently on my arm while Marcus followed in his own car. Nobody spoke for the first 10 minutes, processing the magnitude of what had just happened. Finally, Sarah broke the silence. "I am so proud of you," she said simply. "That must have been the hardest thing you have ever done. But it was absolutely the right choice." Marcus called that evening after we had all gone home to decompress privately. "That was intense," he admitted, "but I have never been more confident about our business partnership. Watching you stand up to that manipulation makes me certain we can handle anything the industry throws at us." His words meant more than any family support ever had because they were based on respect and shared accomplishment rather than obligation. Monday morning brought immediate consequences. Mom had blocked my phone number overnight, unfriended me on all social media platforms, and apparently called several extended family members to explain her version of events. My aunt texted condolences for losing my way and encouraged me to make things right with family. Jake posted vague social media comments about betrayal and toxic siblings that clearly referenced our situation. But the positive changes were more significant than the negative ones. Without the constant drama and uncertainty surrounding Jake's potential involvement, my team's productivity increased noticeably. David, our senior developer, commented on the improved office atmosphere during our Wednesday team meeting. "Whatever was causing those weird vibes last month seems to have resolved," he observed. "Everyone seems more focused and confident about our direction." The Peterson situation also resolved more favorably than expected. After Jake's departure from the picture, I was able to rebuild trust with Janet Morrison through consistent follow-up, realistic timeline proposals, and transparent communication about our actual capabilities. While we lost the original $200,000 contract, Peterson agreed to a smaller pilot project that could grow into something bigger if executed properly. Sarah and I grew closer through the family crisis, our relationship strengthening as I learned to be authentically myself rather than constantly managing family dynamics. "You are different now," she told me one Friday evening as we cooked dinner together. "More relaxed, more confident, like you were carrying invisible weight that you finally put down." She was right. The constant anxiety about managing Mom's expectations and Jake's potential interference had been exhausting in ways I had not fully recognized. Marcus and I formalized our partnership with new legal agreements that protected both our interests and clarified decision-making authority. The process of defining our working relationship made me realize how much uncertainty Jake's potential involvement had created. "It feels good to know exactly where we stand," Marcus said as we signed the updated partnership documents. "No family drama, no unclear obligations, just two people building something great together." The business continued growing steadily, without the distraction of family conflicts. We landed 3 new clients in the 2 months following the confrontation, expanded our development team by 2 people, and began planning a West Coast expansion for the following year. The $2 million funding round I had mentioned to shock Mom became reality 6 months later, validating every decision I had made to protect the company from destructive family dynamics. 6 months after that Sunday evening confrontation, I was sitting in the same corner office where this story began, but everything had changed. The company had grown to 22 employees. Our revenue was up 40% from the previous year, and we had just signed a partnership agreement with a major shipping corporation that would double our client base within 12 months. The silence from Mom was complete and permanent. No birthday wishes, no holiday calls, no acknowledgement of business achievements that would have made any normal parent proud. Jake's competing company never materialized, despite Mom's $100,000 promise. According to mutual friends, he was still living at home, still unemployed, still spending his days gaming and his nights gambling online. Mom was still enabling his destructive patterns while maintaining her boycott of me. The most surprising discovery was how little their absence affected my daily happiness. For years, I had carried guilt and anxiety about disappointing family expectations, constantly trying to prove myself worthy of love and approval that was never actually available. Without that burden, my energy focused entirely on relationships and activities that brought genuine fulfillment. Sarah and I moved in together 4 months after the family meeting, our relationship deepening. once I stopped dividing my emotional energy between her support and family drama. "You laugh more now," she observed one Saturday morning as we prepared breakfast together. "And you sleep better. It is like you were holding your breath for years and finally exhaled." She was planning to quit her corporate job to join our company as operations manager, bringing skills we desperately needed and trust I valued above any qualification. Marcus became the brother I had always wanted but never had in Jake. Our partnership was built on mutual respect, shared risks, and complementary strengths, rather than genetic obligation and manipulative guilt. When we disagreed about business decisions, we discussed options rationally and reached compromises that served our shared interests. When personal problems arose, we supported each other without keeping score or demanding excessive sacrifice. The chosen family I built was smaller but infinitely more loyal than the biological family I had lost. Our team felt like a tight-knit group of people genuinely invested in each other's success. Client relationships were based on honest communication and delivered results rather than false promises and manipulative tactics. Even our investors treated me with respect earned through performance rather than automatic entitlement. I learned that real love does not demand the destruction of your dreams to prove loyalty. Healthy relationships celebrate your successes rather than minimizing them to boost someone else's ego. True family members want you to thrive independently rather than sacrificing your potential to solve their problems. The people who genuinely care about you will support your difficult decisions, even when those decisions do not benefit them directly. The most profound realization was understanding that saying no to exploitation is not selfish. It is essential for maintaining any relationship worth having. Mom's ultimatum had actually been a gift forcing me to choose between authentic success and manipulative obligation. Jake's entitled demands revealed his true character and saved me from years of future conflicts. Their rejection freed me to build the life I actually wanted rather than the life they expected me to provide for them. Today, I mentor other entrepreneurs who struggle with family pressure and boundary issues. The pattern is surprisingly common: successful people being manipulated into supporting relatives who refuse to work for their own achievements. I share my story not to encourage cutting off family members, but to validate the difficult choice of prioritizing your own well-being when family relationships become destructive. Sometimes the most loving thing you can do is refuse to enable someone's worst behaviors, even when that refusal comes with painful consequences. Mom and Jake are still stuck in the same dysfunctional patterns they have always maintained, but I am no longer available to fund their delusions or absorb their emotional chaos. They lost a son and brother who could have provided genuine support if they had been willing to treat me with basic respect. My business continues growing because it is built on solid foundations rather than family obligations. The people I work with choose to be there because of shared goals and mutual benefit, not genetic accidents and emotional manipulation. The success feels authentic because it was earned through merit, rather than inherited through birth order or acquired through manipulation. The question that drove this entire journey was whether I would sacrifice my dreams to maintain family relationships that were never actually supportive. The answer required courage I did not know I possessed, but the freedom that resulted was worth every moment of uncertainty and pain. I discovered that the family you choose can be infinitely more valuable than the family you were born into. Jake still lives with Mom, still unemployed, still waiting for opportunities to be handed to him without effort. Mom still focuses all her energy on solving his problems while ignoring the solutions he refuses to implement. Neither of them has contacted me since that Sunday evening, and I no longer expect them to. Their silence used to feel like punishment. Now it feels like peace. What about you? Have you ever had to choose between your dreams and family expectations? Are you still trying to earn love from people who use that love as a weapon against your success? I would love to hear your experiences in the comments below. Hit that like button if this story resonated with your own family struggles, and subscribe for more real stories about standing up for yourself when it matters most. Share this video with anyone who needs to hear that their dreams matter more than other people's manipulations. Thank you for listening to my story, and remember that sometimes the greatest act of love is knowing when to walk away. I hope you find the courage to choose your authentic self over others' expectations, because that choice might just save your life like it saved mine.